Hi, Kevin Keener with Trademark Complete. Oh, nobody ever told you before, but there's two trademark registers. What does that mean? It means you can get one of two types of trademark certificates. Oh, you didn't know this, did you? Well, if you got a rejection and you want to keep the mark alive, then you might have found out. So, what does this mean? There is a primary registration. The primary register holds all of the primary registrations. And whenever you think of trademark registrations and the rights that are associated with trademark registrations, this is what you're thinking about. You're thinking about the primary register. It is the main type of registration. It is the top notch. It's what everybody wants and usually what everybody gets. However, there are certain classes of marks, like descriptive type marks, which are not quite distinctive enough for the primary register. Those marks that aren't quite distinctive enough can still get a registration. It's essentially a second class, second tier register. It's called the supplemental register. And you will get issued a supplemental registration certificate. A couple of differences between the primary and the supplemental registrations. First, the supplemental registrations are only allowable for marks that are actually used in commerce. So let's say you file a 1A, or I'm sorry, let's say you file a 1B intent to use application for a mark. It's too descriptive. You need to amend it to the supplemental register. This means you need to submit a specimen first. You submit a specimen, say a date of first use, amend it to a 1A application, and then say I want to be on the supplemental register. And it goes through. So that's point number one. Number two is that after the once you're on the supplemental registration and have the supplemental registration, you're not stuck there. What that means is you get 5 years to sit there. Essentially, you can sit on there indefinitely, but you essentially get 5 years, and then you can reapply for the primary register. You file a new application, pay a new fee, cite ownership to the first application that's on the supplemental register, and say, hey, I've been using this for 5 years. I have acquired distinctiveness now. Why is 5 years important? Essentially, the law says that 5 years is important. That once you've been on the supplemental register for 5 years, you've acquired enough distinctiveness to get to the primary register. Is it guaranteed? No. I have had instances where examiners have said, I don't care that you've been using the mark for 5 years. I still think the mark is too descriptive and you cannot get on the primary register. But more likely than not, you can get through. So that's supplemental register versus primary register. Oh, and one other thing, what does it mean? You still get your date of first use. So a supplemental register is good because it saves your place in line. Nobody can get a trademark registration yet on the primary register because you have yours on the supplementary register. Also, do you get any rights with the supplemental registration? No. The only right you get is the right to sue in federal court. Everything else is what's called common law rights. Essentially, your only protection is that you can stop others from filing trademark applications for that same mark. So that's primary register versus supplemental register. Thank you very much and have happy trademarking.